Fantasy Flight loves them some Lovecraft and Mythos-focused games. And now they've stepped in with one more, Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. For me, the release of this game was kind of a surprise because I already thought of Eldritch Horror as Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. So the question is, was this game a necessary release? Let's find out and discuss 5 things about Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. You start a game of Arkham Horror 3rd Edition by picking a scenario, which is going to determine a ton of stuff for your game. Each player then chooses an investigator with their own set of statistics, health and sanity, and also some free upgrades, including a choice between 2 that gives your character some sort of direction and specialization in the game. During the action phase of the game, each player takes 2 actions: moving around, fighting monsters, warding away doom to prevent the board from being overrun, and several other options. The monsters then get a chance to activate, each having their own AI that'll direct them to different investigators or different parts of the board. Then each investigator has an encounter, in classic Arkham style, looking at the 3 locations for their neighborhood and finding the encounter that corresponds on a randomly drawn card. Finally, you have the Mythos phase, where each investigator randomly draws 2 tokens from a bag or cup, resolving the effects generally negative for each. All actions in the game are resolved with dice rolls, with each investigator rolling the number of dice for their given statistic, and generally needing to get at least 1, 5, or 6 to succeed at a task. If the investigators can fulfill the requirements of their archive card, usually related to gaining a certain number of clues, before too much doom accumulates on the Ancient One's card, they win the scenario. The way clues are handled and gained in this game is, for my money, the best in the series so far. Clues are randomly placed on a neighborhood of 3 locations instead of on a single space like in Eldritch Horror. An event card for the clue, unique to the scenario, is shuffled into the top 3 cards of that location's deck. This gives a nice tactical feel to the board itself, letting some locations and neighborhoods be more valuable than others. Additionally, I like that getting the clue is not an automatic, immediate thing. On a related note, the same unique event deck also determines where doom is placed on the board. In most scenarios, if too much doom is placed on the board, an anomaly takes over the entire neighborhood, unlocking unique anomaly encounter cards for the players to face. Investigators can, as an action, attempt to remove doom from their space, and if they remove all of the doom from a neighborhood, they also get rid of the anomaly. On a positive note, I love the tactical feel of this and how the board has an organic growth to it, some locations becoming more dangerous and more dire and in need of help than others. On the negative side, though, warding away doom is fairly simple and isn't that interesting of an action. It can give the game a little bit of a Euro-ish pandemic feel, bopping around from space to space and clearing away the danger, which, while not a terrible thing generally, doesn't really fit with the thematic feel of a desperate Arkham game. Both doom and clues come from these tokens in the Mythos Cup, and again we've got a little bit of a mixed bag here. On the positive side, you have a very controlled set of tokens that come out, and while they'll come out in a random order, you always see them all before they're reshuffled. This again leads the game towards a more controlled, tactical experience, where players know exactly how many monsters to expect, exactly how much doom will be added, exactly how many clues will come out. But on the negative side, it also kills a lot of the life and variety of the game. You know exactly how many monsters will come out. You can never have a game where there are a ton of monsters or very few monsters. It's always going to be consistent, for better or worse. But hey, that's all fine if the unique scenarios with all their unique cards lead to amazing story moments, right? Unfortunately, we're still looking at a mixed bag with that. Yes, the variety in cards, storylines, objectives, and enemies faced from scenario to scenario is great and will lead to very different play experiences for all 4 scenarios. But on the negative side, the scenarios feel incredibly static, especially after one play of each. And most worrisome, because the board is so specific and the enemies are so specific and these cards are so specific, I don't know how they're going to expand a given scenario. And sadly, for those hoping for a pro to finish us up, nope, we're ending mixed one more time, looking at the locations and the encounter cards associated with them. Each location has a very specific effect associated with it. Like Hibbs Roadhouse, you can expect to spend money to regain sanity. Out of 8 encounters for each location, generally they'll have that exact effect for 5 or 6 of the 8 cards, sometimes even 7. On the positive side, hey, it's giving you tactical control. You can know exactly how to heal your character or get the kind of item you want. But on the negative side, with only 8 cards per location, and with almost all of them having almost an identical effect, the flavor text starts to not matter that much, and the encounters tend to become somewhat mechanical affairs. And man, for an Arkham horror game where a lot of this is supposed to be the life's blood and the fun of the game, it feels like a real missed opportunity. I'll tell you, doing this review was not easy because my feelings on this game have shifted drastically from my first plays to my more recent plays. When I first played, I was drawn in by the really specific storylines of the campaigns, and I loved the increased tactical gameplay. But with more reflection, as you can probably tell from all the mixed points on my review, the game's fallen off quite a bit. I feel like while the written story has become much stronger, they've taken away a lot of the variety that allowed players to come up with their own emergent stories and have really exciting events happen to them. Additionally, while the tactical gameplay is more controlled, that control leads to less variety in gameplay, and also just a feeling that the life of the crazy Mythos with all these horrible events happening to you has been lost somewhere. The difficulty's swingy, I'm worried about the expandability of the entire system. All in all, I feel like after extended plays, Arkham Horror 3rd Edition isn't that great of a value out of the box, and I can't really recommend it that strongly. Good gaming, everyone.